When you were younger, did you ever secretly feel your heart flutter and wish you could have a love as beautiful as that of a famous couple? Welcome to Golden Flame Stars. In today's video, we board a train of memories to revisit marriages that have survived fame and time to become symbols of everlasting love in real life. It might be the gentle, enduring grace of Michelle Pfeiffer with David E. Kelley, or the quiet, deep devotion of Jeff Bridges with Susan Jeston. Let's see if these couples match the names in your heart. In 1974, while Jeff Bridges was filming Rancho Deluxe, he met Susan Jeston, a college student working as a waitress in Paradise Valley. He fell for her instantly, and they married in 1977. Now Jeff is 75 and Susan 71. They say quiet loyalty, gentle laughter, and daily kindness have kept their love intact for nearly 5 decades. Jerry Seinfeld met Jessica Sklar at a New York gym in 1998, and they married the following year. Through reruns, book tours, and public attention, they've stayed grounded together. Now Jerry is 71 and Jessica 54. After more than 25 years, their marriage leans on wit, simple routines, and shared purpose. Michelle Pfeiffer met TV writer David E. Kelley on a blind date in 1993, and they quietly married later that year. Through changing trends, awards, and Hollywood pressure, they've stayed side by side. Now Michelle is 67 and David 69. After more than 3 decades together, they credit privacy, shared principles, and laughing through the chaos for a calm, steady love. Mark Harmon met fellow actress Pam Dawber in the 1980s and chose a quiet life with her, marrying on March 21, 1987. Now Mark is 74 and Pam 74, nearly 4 decades on. Their low-key marriage thrives on staying home, choosing privacy over red carpets, and guarding what matters most. The next couple just might surprise you. Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi fell in love in the mid-2000s and married at home in August 2008. They've walked through intense public scrutiny, career shifts, and reinvention together. Now Ellen is 67 and Portia 52. Their bond has endured through humor, radical honesty, and choosing to stand together when life feels loudest. Sarah Jessica Parker met Matthew Broderick through New York theater in 1991, and they married on May 19, 1997, in a surprise downtown ceremony that felt like a scene from one of their plays. Now Sarah is 60 and Matthew 63. After 28 years, their love leans on shared work, separate identities, and a New York sense of humor. Samuel L. Jackson met LaTanya Richardson as college students on Atlanta's Spelman Morehouse scene, then married her in 1980, long before global stardom. Now Samuel is 76 and LaTanya 76. 45 years later, their union has survived addiction, fame, and distance through fierce faith, blunt honesty, and shared purpose. Dennis Quaid met Laura Savoy at a business event in 2019, and they eloped in Santa Barbara in 2020. Their romance, often discussed for its age gap, has deepened instead of fading. Now Dennis is 71 and Laura 32. 5 years in, their joy rests on faith, gratitude, and tuning out noise. Let's see if the couples that follow match the names in your heart. Kevin Kline met Phoebe Cates in the 1980s, and they married in 1989. Long after their fame peaked, they chose a quiet life in New York, far from Hollywood. Now Kevin is 78 and Phoebe 62. Over 3 decades on, their enduring love rests on privacy, mutual respect, and gentle wit. Viola Davis met Julius Tenen on a set in 1999, and they married on June 23, 2003. Their love has run alongside awards, activism, and building a company together. Now Viola is 60 and Julius 72. Over 20 years on, their partnership is anchored in faith, rituals, and refusing to let go. Lisa Kudrow and French advertising executive Michel Stern married in 1995. While the world watched her on Friends, their life stayed mostly off camera. Now Lisa is 62 and Michel 67. Their enduring partnership of over 30 years rests on discretion, deep friendship, and a quiet commitment to walking the same road. In 1983, Rob Lowe met makeup artist Cheryl Burkhoff on a blind date. Then they reconnected on Bad Influence and married in 1991. Now Rob is 61 and Cheryl 64. After more than 30 years, their bond leans on forgiveness, humor, couples therapy, and keeping Hollywood at arm's length. Ben Stiller met Christine Taylor on a quirky sci-fi pilot in 1999, married her in 2000, and later weathered a painful separation before quietly finding their way back together. Now Ben is 60 and Christine 54. Their renewed marriage rests on humor, humility, and choosing each other a second time. John C. Reilly met producer Allison Dickey on the set of Casualties of War in 1989, and they married in 1992. While his face became familiar in major films, their life stayed independent. Now John is 60 and Allison 55. 3 decades on, their marriage rests on shared art, loyalty, and gentle constancy. Christopher Walken met Georgianne Than in the 1960s while touring with a theater company, and they married in 1969. Fame came, but they kept their marriage deliberately ordinary. Now Christopher is 82 and Georgianne 81. After more than 55 years together, quiet loyalty, shared work, and wry humor have kept their bond unshaken. Warren Beatty met Annette Bening while filming Bugsy in 1991, and they married on March 3, 1992. Hollywood's former eternal bachelor settled into a quieter love story, rich with work, shared ideals, and admiration. Now Warren is 88 and Annette 67. 3 decades on, patience, humor, and deep respect keep their bond unshaken. Matthew McConaughey first noticed Camila Alves across a crowded Los Angeles night in 2006, and they married in 2012. Their relationship has grown from instant spark to grounded partnership over 13 years. Now Matthew is 56 and Camila 42. They point to shared faith, staying playful, and always coming back to family as their compass. Adriano Celentano met Claudia Mori on a film set in the early 1960s, and they married in 1964. Through hit records, movies, and changing fashions, they've remained each other's constant for more than 60 years. Now Adriano is 87 and Claudia 81. Forgiveness, loyalty, and a fierce belief in family keep their love strong and unshaken. Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen met on the set of Pontiac Moon in 1993 and married in 1995. Divorces and miles were already behind them when they chose a gentler, later-in-life love. Now Ted is 78 and Mary 72. Nearly 30 years on, coffee rituals, shared laughs, and honesty still hold them close. Tom Hanks first met Rita Wilson on a sitcom set in 1981 and married her on April 30th, 1988. They have weathered early struggles, superstardom, and illness, always circling back to each other. Now both are 69. After 37 years of marriage, faith, humor, and daily kindness keep their love steady. Catherine Zeta-Jones met Michael Douglas in 1998 and married him on November 18, 2000, in New York. Since then, they've faced scrutiny, illness, and a brief separation, yet chose to find their way back. Now Michael is 81 and Catherine 56. After 25 years, humor, resilience, and loyalty keep their story alive. Ron Howard met Cheryl Alley in high school and married her on June 7, 1975. Amid decades of sets, scripts, and premieres, they kept their private world remarkably ordinary and close-knit. Now Ron is 71 and Cheryl 72. After 50 years, communication, trust, and simple living still anchor their marriage. Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw fell in love while making Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and married in 1991. Now Steven is 79 and Kate 72. After more than 30 years together, blended family life, shared faith, and curiosity have kept their partnership quietly strong. Barbra Streisand met James Brolin on a date in 1996, and they married in 1998. Both brought past marriages and fame, yet discovered in each other a late-life love that felt gentle. Now Barbra is 83 and James 85. After over 25 years, shared humor, respect, and quiet nights keep their story glowing. Tom Selleck met Gilly Mack in London while she was performing in Cats. They married in 1987. At the height of his fame, he stepped back to a ranch and chose a quieter life. Now Tom is 80 and Gilly 68. Nearly 40 years on, privacy, shared chores, and routines keep them close. Julia Louis-Dreyfus met Brad Hall in a comedy troupe at Northwestern, and they married on June 25, 1987. Through Seinfeld years and beyond, their lives have stayed intertwined with jokes, work, and late-night talks. Now Julia is 64 and Brad 67. Nearly 40 years on, humor, loyalty, and respect keep their marriage bright. Ed Harris met Amy Madigan on the set of Places in the Heart. They married on November 21, 1983. Through stage work, film roles, and award seasons, they've often chosen to work side by side. Now both are 75, and more than 40 years together have been shaped by artistic respect, steadiness, and a quietly fierce devotion. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn fell in love while filming Swing Shift and began their life together in 1983, choosing partnership over paperwork. They've weathered blended family life, career highs, and growing older in the spotlight. Now Kurt is 74 and Goldie 80. Their enduring bond rests on freedom, friendship, and a daily decision to stay. Alan Alda met Arlene Weiss at a dinner party in the 1950s, and they married on March 15, 1957. Through fame, illness, and time, they have remained each other's audience and home. Now Alan is 89 and Arlene 92, nearly 7 decades on. Kindness, curiosity, and shared laughter keep their love alive. Pierce Brosnan met journalist Keely Shea Smith in 1994 and married her on August 4, 2001, in Ireland. After grief and reinvention, their partnership became a safe harbor. Now Pierce is 72 and Keely 61. More than 30 years together, devotion, gratitude, and quiet romance still anchor their hearts. Kevin Bacon met Kyra Sedgwick on the 1987 production of Lemon Sky, and they married on September 4, 1988. Fame, family, and career ups and downs never pulled them apart. Now Kevin is 67 and Kyra 60. After 37 years, loyalty, laughter, and teamwork keep their marriage strong. Jamie Lee Curtis spotted Christopher Guest in a magazine photo before they met, and they married in December 1984. Hollywood careers, sobriety, and parenthood reshaped their lives, but not their bond. Now Jamie is 67 and Christopher 77. 4 decades on, respect, humor, and giving each other space keep them close. Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman met in 1971 doing theater and married in 1982. Though they've lived apart in recent years, they remain legally married and emotionally close. Now Danny is 81 and Rhea 77. 5 decades of shared history, laughter, and friendship still bind them in an unusual but lasting love. Denzel Washington met Pauletta on the TV movie Wilma and married her on June 25, 1983. They've walked red carpets, raised a family, and faced life's changes shoulder to shoulder. Now Denzel is 71 and Pauletta 75. Over 40 years on, their marriage survives on work, faith, and deep mutual respect. François-Henri Pinault and Salma Hayek began dating in 2006 and married on Valentine's Day, 2009 in Paris, then celebrated again in Venice. Their world mixes fashion houses, film sets, and family. Now François-Henri is 63 and Salma 59. Their enduring partnership is grounded in admiration, cultural richness, and fiercely protected privacy. Chris O'Donnell reconnected with Caroline Fentress through her brother, a college friend, and they married in April 1997. While his career moved from films to long-running television, their life stayed quietly rooted. Now Chris is 55 and Caroline 52. Nearly 3 decades together rest on shared faith, low-key routines, and choosing home over headlines. Ozzy Osbourne met Sharon Arden in the late 1970s through her father's music company, and they married on July 4, 1982. Their story weathered addiction, scandal, and reality TV chaos, yet held. Before Ozzy's death, over 40 years together had forged a bond of fierce loyalty, forgiveness, and enduring love. Sting met Trudy Styler in the early 1980s. After nearly a decade together, they married in 1992. They've crossed the world between tours, films, and activism, yet always returned to each other's orbit. Now Sting is 74 and Trudy 71. Their four-decade bond built on shared causes, playfulness, and quiet time away from fame. Ringo Starr met Barbara Bach while filming Caveman in 1980, and they married in 1981. Through touring, blended families, and changing eras, their affection never lost its gentle humor. Now Ringo is 85 and Barbara 79. After more than 40 years, love, gratitude, and simply enjoying each other's company keep them close. An icon of 1980s and 90s action, Bruce Willis redefined the everyman hero with Die Hard and The Fifth Element. He married actress Demi Moore in 1987, sharing 13 years and 3 daughters. Now 70, he lives quietly with his second wife, model Emma Hemming, who has stood by him since 2009. Stoic and fearless, Charles Bronson defined raw justice in The Dirty Dozen and Death Wish. Married 3 times, he shared 22 loving years with English actress Jill Ireland until her death in 1990. He later married actress Kim Weeks in 1998 and remained with her until his death in 2003 at 81. The ultimate antihero of the 1960s, Clint Eastwood rose to fame with a fistful of dollars and the good, the bad, and the ugly. His second wife, Dina Ruiz, is a news anchor, and they married in 1996, their marriage lasting 17 years. Now 95, Eastwood enjoys a quiet life in California, still directing with timeless focus. A trailblazer for women in action cinema, Sigourney Weaver conquered audiences as Ellen Ripley in Alien and Aliens. She married stage director Jim Simpson in 1984, and they've shared over 40 years of love and creativity. At 76, she remains an elegant, fearless force in Hollywood and beyond. Forever remembered as Sarah Connor in the Terminator series, Linda Hamilton transformed vulnerability into power and became a true icon of female strength. She married director James Cameron in 1997 but divorced 2 years later. Now 69, she lives happily single in Wyoming, continuing to act with grace and authenticity. A global action legend, Sylvester Stallone rose to fame with Rocky and Rambo, symbols of grit and determination. In his third marriage, he wed model Jennifer Flavin in 1997 after years together. At 79, after 25 years of marriage, they remained strong, proving love can endure like his on-screen heroes. From bodybuilding icon to action superstar, Arnold Schwarzenegger conquered Hollywood with The Terminator and Predator. He married television journalist Maria Shriver in 1986, and they shared 25 years of marriage before separating in 2011. Now 78, Arnold stays active, inspiring millions through fitness, philanthropy, and film. From Escape from New York to Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell defined a cool and unconventional hero in 1980s action cinema. After one marriage, he found lasting love with actress Goldie Hawn in 1983. Now 74, he's enjoyed over 40 happy years with Goldie, one of Hollywood's most admired love stories. With his commanding presence and shaven head, Yul Brynner became immortal through The Magnificent Seven and The King and I. He married 4 times, most enduringly to ballerina Kathy Lee from 1983 until his passing in 1985. His mystique and regal aura remain unmatched in film history. Heroic and dignified, Charlton Heston reigned supreme in epics like Ben-Hur and The Ten Commandments. He married Lydia Clark in 1944, their union lasting an incredible 64 years. Heston passed away in 2008 at 84, remembered as a man of integrity both on and off the screen. Known as the King of Cool, Steve McQueen captured rebel spirit in Bullitt and The Great Escape. Married 3 times, he found lasting happiness with model Barbara Minnie in 1980. Just months later, he died from cancer at 50, leaving behind a legacy of effortless style and grit. With his magnetic smile and southern swagger, Burt Reynolds lit up screens in Deliverance and Smokey and the Bandit. He married actress Lonnie Anderson for the second time in 1988, but their marriage lasted only 5 years. Despite ups and downs, Reynolds remained a beloved star until his passing in 2018 at 82. Suave, witty, and effortlessly cool, James Coburn defined 1960s action charm in Our Man Flint and The Magnificent Seven. He married actress Paula Murad for the second time in 1993, and they shared nearly a decade of happiness until his death in 2002. Coburn's warmth and charisma remain unforgettable in Hollywood history. A towering symbol of 1950s American heroism, John Wayne embodied rugged strength and moral courage in classics like The Searchers and Rio Bravo. Married 3 times, he found lasting love with Peruvian actress Pilar Pallit in 1954. Their 25-year marriage endured until his death in 1979, built on loyalty and devotion. A true powerhouse of 1950s cinema, Burt Lancaster blended athleticism with charisma in The Crimson Pirate and From Here to Eternity. Married 3 times, his longest union was with actress and pianist Norma Anderson from 1946 to 1969. After their separation, he lived alone, focusing on family and social causes until his death in 1994 at 80. America's most decorated World War II hero, Audie Murphy, transformed valor into stardom with To Hell and Back and Gunsmoke. He went through 2 marriages, finding stability with Pamela Archer in 1951. They shared 2 sons and a humble Texas home until his tragic death in a 1971 plane crash. The original Hollywood tough guy, Robert Mitchum, defined post-war cool in River of No Return and The Night of the Hunter. Married to Dorothy Spence from 1940 until his death in 1997. Their enduring 57-year marriage stood firm despite fame's temptations. A rare love story in old Hollywood. Gruff-voiced and uncompromising, Lee Marvin embodied tough realism in Point Blank and The Dirty Dozen. He married his second wife, Pamela Feely, a former schoolteacher, in 1970, and they remained together for 17 years. Marvin died in 1987 at 63, leaving behind a legacy of grit and authenticity, both on and off screen. Thank you for watching. Love may not always make the headlines, but for these famous couples, it's the quiet force that keeps their worlds together. Through fame, struggle, and time, they've proven that true partnership never fades. It only grows stronger. If their stories touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring Hollywood love stories, only on Golden Flame Stars.